Now at 6, the public turns out for a meeting with KDOT to discuss the future of the US 69 corridor in Crawford County. Plus, the city of Miami unveils a brand new 911 dispatch center. And student musicians tune up for the Wyandotte Band Camp.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Kansas Department of Transportation holds a series of open house sessions regarding the future of U.S. Highway 69. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Tanya Bach. And this morning's public meeting was at Pittsburgh's Memorial Auditorium. The purpose? To allow the public to voice their opinions and ideas about the future and possible expansion of U.S. 69. Previous plans for a western and eastern expansion were thrown around for decades. KDOT says it wants citizen input before carrying out a plan of action.
So today's meeting is we've identified the top 5 items that we think we heard the public tell us from the first month. And we're here to verify, are we correct? Did we hear you correctly?
Officials say the main focus at this time is studying the highway and its stakeholders before starting or considering any projects. Well, if you missed today's open house, you have 2 more chances tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Palooka's in Frontenac, and then from 4 to 6 p.m. at Northeast High School in Irma. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Tuesday for us today. Smidge warmer than what we saw yesterday. Most of us had 87 or 88 degrees across the region. 86 is where we sit in Pittsburgh. So mainly mid to upper 80s on the Missouri and Arkansas side. Then upper 80s to near 90. Independence 90 Parsons is sitting at 91 degrees. Few cumulus clouds out there. And just like yesterday, we've had a couple isolated little thunderstorms, mainly in our southern counties. Any that pop up this evening will mainly be along and south of I-44. And then once we lose the heating of the day, those will disappear. Evening planner, if you want to get outside, again, most of you are going to be dry. Drop back through the 80s, 70s, into the mid 60s later on tonight. We do continue to warm up a bit over the next few days. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Before election season gets into full swing, some local county officials are testing their voting equipment. Jasper County hosted a public test of its voting equipment today at the Jasper County Courthouse. For Jasper County Clerk Charlie Davis, the test provides a way to ensure the equipment works properly, well in advance of the next big election.
Hand counts, and when we do that, that shows that the machine's actually counted correctly. Because we want people to understand when they go and they feed their ballot through the machine, their ballot is going to count, their vote is going to count. We're one of the only countries in the world that have the constitutional right to vote, and if we can get our voters to understand that it is accurate and their vote does count.
We've provided a link to the Jasper County ballot samples for August 6th on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Quapaw Nation and Ottawa County 911 Authority cut the ribbon for their new dispatch center. The new dispatch center uses technology to make their response times faster and more efficient. KOAM's Melissa Alexis shows us.
You can now actually video chat with your dispatcher.
The Quapaw Nation and Ottawa County debuted their new 911 dispatch center in Miami. The new dispatch center uses technology to receive not just emergency phone calls, but also photos, texts, and videos of the emergency.
We can send videos, we can take pictures, we can hide the video if we ever needed to. With this too, we can also message back and forth, a silent chat, so it won't make their phone or anything go off.
Valerie Barger, the telecommunications manager, says the video information can be crucial for responding accurately to an emergency.
Central Dispatch.
Someone says a vehicle is on fire. So you dispatch that as a vehicle on fire. But what the person didn't tell you is that vehicle is in between 2 houses. So if you can ask them for video of that, that allows the firefighters to know, hey, that's probably going to be a structure fire within the next few minutes.
With this new system, they're able to receive emergency texts, which benefit people who are in emergencies where they can't speak out loud. This new technology also allows them to pinpoint location of an emergency faster and more reliably.
If they were traveling, we'd get a little breadcrumb, which is just like little dots, being able to follow them wherever they go. With that, in the area that we are, it gives us our first responding agencies.
Taryn Solzing, a telecommunicator at the 911 Dispatch Center, says she looks forward to better serving the community, including those who may have had a language barrier, as their new technology addresses this concern.
Language detection now. So if they were speaking Spanish, it would pop up and it would have translation.
The telecommunications manager says that this new technology allows for faster dispatch time, and she says that in an emergency, every second counts to save a life. Reporting in Miami, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Now, this collaborative dispatch center is a project between Quapaw Nation, the city of Miami, and the Ottawa County, and it is the first collaborative dispatch center between tribal and city governments in Northeast Oklahoma. Area band camps have started tuning up in preparation for the upcoming school year. Today, Wyandotte, Oklahoma hosted its band camp. Student musicians turned out to start working on physical conditioning, sizing up uniforms, team building, and of course, to begin practicing music.
We pulled out some music and we took a look at just some stand tunes, just because most of us haven't played over the summer. And we took a look at the national anthem because it's a new version for them. Not for me, but for them.
Photojournalist Ty Parks brings us more from the event tonight on KOAM News at 10. Well, fair season in the 4 states continues in Labette County, Kansas. That's coming up in a little bit. But first, a Missouri man takes one step closer to freedom after spending more than 30 years in prison for a crime he says he did not commit. A man incarcerated in the Missouri prison system for more than 30 years is one step closer to freedom. Dion Broxton has more on the man recently exonerated by a Missouri court.
Kira Dunn is nearly speechless. After 3 decades behind bars, her husband is close to freedom.
I have no words. I'm still processing this. I'm so thankful, though. I can tell you that I'm so thankful that we're all still.
Exactly 2 months after testimony wrapped up in a St. Louis courtroom, a judge rules Chris Dunn must be released. In 1991, a St. Louis court convicted Chris Dunn of killing 15-year-old Rico Rogers near Labadee and Clara on a dark spring night. 2 young boys said Dunn pulled the trigger, but later admitted they lied. Another boy who was there that night testified in Dunn's defense in May.
The only thing I saw was the fire coming from the gun.
Another friend vouched for Dunn's alibi.
And I tried to tell them then that he couldn't have been there. I was on the phone with him.
But Dunn's freedom isn't guaranteed just yet.
We saw with the Attorney General's office, they tried their best to delay Sandra Hemi's freedom, but she eventually got out. Is that a concern for you all as well?
Well, yes, it is. We were watching that happen for Sandra and her family, and we were fearing that the same would happen for Chris.
Kira could be just hours, days, or weeks from being reunited with Chris.
Never give up on trying to help the person you love.
A little later, an area Dairy Queen invites a special 8-year-old boy out to whip up a special frozen treat.
Plus a slow warming trend as we go through the rest of the week. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a nice Tuesday for us today. Temperatures still pretty good. We're actually still below average for this time of the year. We should be topping out right around 91 degrees for the last week of July, and we've been actually sticking in the 80s, which is pretty good. We just saw a nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex Tower Cam downtown Joplin. 89 Nowata, 88 Neodesha, so near 90. As you work a little farther toward the east, 85 in Fort Scott, 88 at Grand Lake, and then Stockton to Monette, mainly sitting into low to mid 80s. It's warm, but it's not terrible. Now the humidity has creeped up a little bit over the past couple days, so we're measuring our humidity using dew points in a degree fashion. So if you look at our scale, so we have mid 60s, so it makes it feel a little bit sticky, but as long as it stays under that 70 degree mark, it's usually feeling pretty good. All right, cumulus clouds during the afternoon. We've seen a couple little isolated showers pop up, mainly in our far southern counties. Most of us are going to stay dry as we go through the evening, but along and south of I-44, can't rule out an isolated random thunderstorm or two over the next couple hours. Let's look at our upper level flow right out of Canada, and that's why we've been a little bit cooler as we've been really since about last Wednesday. It's been pretty nice. All right, one wave rotating east. We're going to watch this little wave develop and then kind of push in as we get into Friday and Saturday. This will give us some showers and still keep our temperatures intact, kind of in that not bad category. As we go through the second half of the weekend, this system ejects, and now our big dome of high pressure starts to build back in for us next week, meaning the heat and the humidity will be returning. All right, for you tonight, we'll slide back down to 65, 66, 67 degrees for an overnight low. Sunshine during the morning hours, cumulus clouds popping up once again during the afternoon. By noon, most of us are going to be into the mid-80s. And then again, so during the afternoon, highs near 90, but you can see isolated little hit and miss thunderstorms popping up again. 80 to 85% of us, probably 90 of us, will be staying dry tomorrow, just those hit and miss storms. Anything that does fire will be gone by the time we get into the evening hours, and then upper 60s to start Thursday, heating up again. I think most of us about 91 to about 93 degrees by the time we get into Thursday afternoon. On your Wednesday, 68 start, 85 by noon, 89 by 4, high temp at 90. Again, those hit and miss little storms. Heat indices a little bit higher. The humidity's not terrible, but a little bit higher. So heat indices tomorrow from lower 90s to mid 90s once you get into our western counties. And then a little bit higher again on Thursday. Most of us mid to upper 90s across the region. All right, high temp tomorrow, we're going to go 90, 92 Thursday, upper 80s Friday and Saturday with those chances for a few random storms, a little bit more noticeable. And then drying out, heating up all next week.
Hey, we got a couple nights in the 60s though, so
yeah, the
nice.
Past few nights have been very comfortable.
We'll take that. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, members of the 4-H and the FFA show off their livestock and hard work this week at the Labette County Fair. Exhibitors today presented poultry and cattle. The event concludes this Friday with a livestock auction. Still ahead, it's MIAA Football Media Day in Kansas City. Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State both preview their upcoming season. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
It's MIAA Media Day in downtown Kansas City. All 10 schools that are members of the conference in football bring their head coach and a couple players to speak for the media for the first time this season. Pittsburgh State enters the fall with a new head coach, but the same high expectations.
The senior leadership we have on this team has made this transition, coaching changes and the new offense so much easier. Just credit to the guys and how they've handled everything. And we got a lot of guys that decided to come back this year for their last year, put their lives on hold and come back and say, hey, let's go give it one more shot.
Every year, like you said, is a fresh start, and it'll be different, having Coach Anthony as our head coach instead of Coach Wright. I'm a little biased. Obviously, having a defensive-minded head coach is a little bit more fun for me. But no, he's came in and done a great job for the team. We have a great connection throughout the group, and we're ready to get started rolling into fall camp and then get ready for Fair State.
That group's really special to me. When we got there, when Coach Wright and I got there in December of 2019, that was a group that had just come in. A lot of those guys were redshirt freshmen going into their redshirt freshman year, or guys that were in our first recruiting class, and those guys made the choice to kind of stay with us and buy into our culture and buy into what we're doing. So being able to lean on those guys here is my first time back as a first-time head coach is just kind of a special time for me to get to bond with those guys again.
Missouri Southern football enters its 5th season under head coach Atiba Bradley. The Lions are looking to turn the corner as a program after finishing with a 5-6 record in 2023.
This is a group that just goes to work. We were commenting like, oh, the summer is almost over. A lot of these guys never left. They stayed, they trained, So the break got really short just because these guys were hungry to get back at it, and that's exciting to see because it's not something I prompted. It's not something our coaches told them. It came internally from the seniors and the upperclassmen, and so it's always a positive sign to see.
I think we're going to be very explosive, something that we've been missing in the past a little bit. I think we got a lot of weapons in the receiver room, a lot of young guys that's going to step up, a couple transfers that's going to make some plays for us. We get a couple guys back on offense. Our O-line has a lot of experience. They'll be a good tested group. And then, of course, we got Luke Sampson throwing the ball, so anytime he's throwing the ball, you got a chance to get it anywhere on the field.
I am really looking forward to how our O-line does this year. You know, we handled business last year. I personally, this might be biased, but I think we're the best in the MIAA. But I'm really ready to see how we come together as a group and how we can push the offense.
The MIAA football preseason polls also released this morning. Pittsburgh State comes in at 2 in both the media and coaches poll, behind unanimous first place selection Central Missouri. Missouri Southern is in the 8th spot in both polls. UCM and Pitt State are the only 2 teams to receive first place votes. Closing things out with baseball, the Joplin Outlaws back at Joe Becker Stadium tonight. They host the Fort Smith Marshals, who are just a half game behind them in the Mid-America League standings. We'll have highlights from it later tonight at 10. That's it for sports. We're back after this.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. MoDOT holds a public input session to discuss I-44 expansion plans. Plus, Pittsburgh commissioners consider an $80,000 contribution to a development on East 4th Street. And health officials push to lower the number of prescription drugs Americans take. Those stories and a lot more tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. The Dairy Queen in Joplin hosted a pretty cool event today. Children's Miracle Network local champion, 8-year-old Vincent Wilkowski, stopped by to make a signature blizzard, the Vincent Blizzard. For Vincent's mother, the Children's Miracle Network has made a world of difference in their lives.
Vincent was born early with clubfoot, so we traveled to St. Louis a lot, and he's had multiple surgeries, and Vincent also has seizures. Because of Children's Miracle Network, we're able to make the trips to St. Louis, and also Vincent has a seizure monitor. They've helped us with seizure medicine. Because of them, I'm able to sleep at night.
This Thursday, $1 or more from every purchased blizzard from the Joplin location will be donated to Freeman Health System, a member hospital of Children's Miracle Network hospitals. All right, final look at weather.
Yeah, it looks pretty good for us throughout the evening hours. We're going to slide back into the mid-60s later on tonight. 90 tomorrow, again, an isolated afternoon thunderstorm. Thursday, a little bit hotter, and then a little better chance for some scattered thunderstorms on Friday and Saturday.
Sounds like a blizzard would be satisfying in that weather.
I may have to go get one.
All right, final sports note.
Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State football fans, they can watch back those full interviews that we had from MIAA Media today. Those are all on our website, koamnewsnow.com/sports.
All right, thanks, John. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here at 10. Have a great evening and an even better tomorrow.